So we all know the importance of diversifying our portfolios by now, and this is not just limited to diversifying over tokens. One thing that I'm really trying to ensure is that I am diversified over different narratives in the cryptocurrency markets. Now, a narrative that is fairly new to me, I only really started looking into it around 2 or 3 weeks ago, and this is DePIN. So DePIN is decentralized physical infrastructures, and this looks to be a big narrative for 2024 and 2025. So I've been doing a little bit of research into finding a project with DePIN that really ticks all of my boxes for what could make a good investment. So these are: what problems does it solve for the current market? What are the team behind it? What are the tokenomics looking like? So obviously this is not an exhaustive list, it's just kind of a good starting area for what to look into when you're first coming across new projects. So today we're going to be going over a couple of projects that I think could be promising in terms of both long and short term gains, and one project that I think is a fantastic project. I think it's interesting and it's different to other things that have been brought to the market, but I'm not 100% sure on how well the adoption for it would be. So first up we have Arweave. Now this will not be a new coin to some people, and I have heard of it, but this is my first time really kind of looking into it a little bit more properly. So given significant expansion of cloud computing over the last decade, it presents a ripe opportunity for disruption in the market. So cloud computing has revolutionized the traditional model of on-premises physical servers for businesses and is offering a much more convenient and technical solution for this. So projections indicate that the worldwide market for cloud storage solutions will sustain a growth rate of 22.3% annually, accumulating a value of $137.7 billion by 2025. So with its mainnet launched in 2018, Arweave is looking at decentralized file storage from a different perspective from others in the space. So Arweave's primary aim is permanent file storage, an aspect which is not currently addressed by traditional cloud computing providers. Instead of competing solely on cost and performance metrics, Arweave endeavours to establish a service previously unattainable, leveraging permissionless crypto economic incentives. So if we take a look at CoinMarketCap, we can see that it is currently sitting at around about 2 billion in market cap. So this is more of a mid-cap kind of coin. We can see that the maximum supply as well is currently capped at 66 million, which is obviously good, and we have 99.17% of the circulating supply are currently out. And I have gone over a few times, we do like higher circulating supply percentages because the higher the circulating supply that's already released means there's less chance of any kind of price dilution. Now the previous all-time high for this, it did reach $90.94, so this was in November of 2021, so I think this was kind of like peak bull run time 2 years ago, and its all-time low was 48 cents in May of 2020, which was 2 years after the launch. So now if we take a look at it over the past year, we can see that this has increased by 242%, so it is a lot, but it's definitely not as much as we've seen some other coins, which would indicate to me that this could still be a really, really good time to get in. And over the last month alone, we are up 105%. So it's looking pretty good for Arweave. So I do think that this is one that could be super promising for the next bull run. We realistically just need just over a 2x on this to hit the previous all-time high, which I think is entirely plausible. And I think especially as the bull run comes, a 2x is kind of plausible for any project really. So if I was to invest in Arweave, I would hope to see a minimum of a 10x on this. It could be more, it could be less, but my target would be for that. Now up next we have what I would say is pretty much the Google Maps of crypto, and it is called HiveMapper. Now this is a completely new one to me, but I think it's definitely an interesting problem that it is trying to solve. Now why I think this is interesting is that people may think that there won't be any uptake on this, but I don't know if anybody else uses it. It might be a UK thing, I'm not 100% sure, but there's this app called Waze that I literally use every morning on my way to work, and this works very similar but with different goals in terms of mapping. So with Waze, the users update the maps in real time of any accidents, traffic, speed traps with the police, etc. And with HiveMapper, they are paying users for their efforts in constructing a community-driven global map. and they do this by using specialised dash cams which are designed specifically for this purpose. So individuals do have the opportunity to generate a passive income by driving and sharing data with the network. One thing I haven't had a chance to look into is kind of how much they get paid for it, and if it would actually be feasible to say that they could generate a passive income from it. They could generate some money from it, but to declare it as passive income, they would have to be earning quite a considerable amount, I would think. So tokenomics wise, on HiveMapper, there is a fixed maximum supply of 10 billion honey tokens. So in order to consume data from the network, so for example through the map image API, honey tokens must be burned in exchange for map credits. So the net number of tokens burned will be reminted and redistributed to contributors using the net emissions model. So as more data is consumed, more honey is burned and more tokens are redistributed to the contributors. So we can see it's at 132 million for the market cap. So this is, I believe it would be a micro cap, small cap, one of the others. Now circulating supply, again, we only have 10% of the circulating supply out. I haven't been able to find out too much about any kind of token release schedule on it, but it's one that I am probably not completely convinced of. If we take a look at the previous all-time high was a year ago and it was at 13 cents, nearly 14 cents. And the all-time low was also a year ago where it dropped to under 1 cent. So it's one I'm not completely convinced of. I think it's a really cool idea, but I think that the performance of the token will struggle if those who are earning the honey token for taking part in it are then going to be selling it off straight away, because for me, if I was using it, it wouldn't make sense for me to be doing all of this to generate the tokens to then not sell them and take the money. I'm not entirely sure. It's one that I'm a bit back and forth at. I have to remember that just because I think something is a good idea and it's an interesting project and it's a little bit different doesn't make it a good investment. But let me know what you think about this one in the comments. This is one that I was mentioning at the start. So the last one that I want to go over today is the Fala network. So the Fala network acts as a compressor which is designed for blockchain. So developers utilize what they call FAT contracts, which are off-chain programs for compressors to enrich decentralized applications with enhanced connectivity, internet access, and intensive computation, overcoming the limitations in Web3 environments. So the Fala network introduces a novel method to introduce confidentiality into smart contracts by leveraging specialized hardware, which is known as the Trusted Execution Environment, or T. So its goal is to deliver privacy-preserving smart contracts, and they aim to achieve 4 key objectives with this. So this is to safeguard the privacy of decentralized applications under management, to provide computing capabilities equivalent to those of the current cloud services, to uphold the security and trustlessness inherent in blockchain technology. So all of the computing operations in Fala are trustless, and also to enable cross-chain interoperability without compromising any confidentiality. So again, this is another microcap coin with some big potential. So we currently have a market cap of 192 million, and it doesn't say it here about the maximum supply, but I did read when I was looking into it that there is a 1 billion maximum supply on it, and the circulating supply is currently at 704 million. So that's roughly about 70%, which is okay. I'm okay with that one. So another interesting thing is I think that today, so we are 10:30 on a Tuesday night. I think this is the only project, well, it was in the green, it's gone down now, never mind. But over the last 7 days, we can see that it's up 39%, and its previous all-time high, if you take a quick look at that, was $1.51. So I think that is more than achievable, especially with more people coming into the DePIN narrative. More people are talking about it. So as retail starts to come in, I think we can expect the price of this to continue to increase. So I know that this has just been a very brief look into some of the projects that are available in the DePIN sector, but I think I will do a more in-depth one into Arweave, because I think this is the one that I am currently most interested in. I know it's a well-known one, but it's a newer one to me. So DePIN is definitely one of the most talked about narratives currently, and I really don't want to miss the opportunity to be able to invest into the narrative, simply because I never made the time to educate myself on it. So I obviously made that mistake in the last bull run of not really understanding at all about different narratives, and I don't want to do that again. So I'm really trying to make time to learn and educate myself, and just kind of sharing what I learn as I go along. So I am super interested to know what your picks are for DePIN, and I think this is definitely going to be the next narrative that I buy for our 1K portfolio. So any feedback and opinions are always appreciated. So let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.